Have you ever seen a ghost? I did, the night of our 10th anniversary. It wasn't a spirit that haunted the halls of our Chicago brownstone. It was the ghost of the woman I married, standing right in front of me, her eyes holding a coldness that could freeze the blood. Her phone lay on the marble countertop, screen up glowing with a message that wasn't from her mother. It was from a man named Mark. The preview read, "Can't stop thinking about last night. You were incredible." I saw it from across the room, a tiny beacon of light systematically dismantling my entire world. She was humming, pouring 2 glasses of champagne, completely oblivious that I had just witnessed the end of us. She turned, a perfect smile plastered on her face, and raised a glass. "To 10 years, my love," she said, her voice dripping with a sincerity that was pure performance. The real question wasn't if I would confront her, but how I would burn her whole world down before she even smelled the smoke. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The betrayal didn't start with that text. It began subtly months earlier. Jessica, my wife, had become a stranger wrapped in familiar skin. There were the late nights she blamed on work, the sudden, hushed phone calls she'd take on the balcony overlooking Lincoln Park, even in the biting winter wind. She started dressing differently, buying expensive lingerie she never wore for me. When I'd ask, she'd just laugh it off. A girl has to feel good for herself, right? Her manipulation was an art form. She'd twist my concern into paranoia, my questions into accusations. "I can't believe you don't trust me," she'd say, her eyes welling up with manufactured tears. After everything we've been through, and like a fool, I'd back down, consumed by guilt she had expertly planted. The villain's Jessica and this phantom. Mark felt untouchable, living in a world of their own secrets, while I was left to patrol the borders of my own home, a sentry guarding a fortress that had already been breached from within. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. I found a receipt for a room at the Thompson Hotel in the Gold Coast. Dated for a night she was supposedly at a work conference in Schaumburg. The charge was for 2, plus room service oysters and champagne. It's the same thing we had on our first date. The sheer, calculated cruelty of it knocked the wind out of me. I sat in my car in a parking garage on Rush Street, the city's glittering facade feeling like a mockery. I couldn't breathe. The man I was, the loyal, trusting husband, died in that driver's seat. He was replaced by something cold, something strategic. The tears stopped. My mind went quiet, then sharpened to a razor's edge. This wouldn't be a messy, screaming fight. It would be a quiet, methodical demolition. My revenge began with a visit to the best divorce attorney in Chicago. I laid out everything, my voice devoid of emotion. Her advice was simple. Don't let her know you know. Gather everything. So I did. Became a ghost in my own life. I installed recovery software on our home computer, pulling deleted texts and emails. I hired a private investigator who tracked them to their little love nests. Not just the Thompson, but a cozy little Italian place in River North, weekend trips to Lake Geneva. He got photos. Jessica and Mark holding hands, kissing, looking like the happy couple I thought we were. The smug look on his face in those pictures, it fueled me. I learned Mark was a partner at a rival firm, a man with a reputation to protect and a family of his own. Perfect. The trap needed 2 sets of teeth. I set the stage for our anniversary, the very day I'd discovered the first text. I told Jessica I was booking a surprise trip to Paris to celebrate, a place she'd always wanted to go. Her eyes lit up. The actress was back on stage. She was busy planning her Parisian wardrobe. I was busy orchestrating her downfall. I created a detailed dossier, the photos, the hotel receipts, the explicit text messages, copies of our joint financial statements showing her lavish spending on him. I made 2 copies, one for my lawyer and one for the grand finale. The day before our trip, I told her I had a pre-anniversary surprise. I drove her to a private dining room at a restaurant where I de-invited our closest friends and family, and, with a little anonymous tip to his wife Mark, and his family were dining in the main room right outside our doors. She walked in, beaming, expecting a toast. Instead, she saw my lawyer standing beside me. I looked at her, my face a mask of calm, and said, "Jessica, I know everything." The color drained from her face. As our friend sat in stunned silence, I handed her the divorce papers. "Our assets are frozen," I said, my voice low and steady. "I filed for divorce on grounds of adultery. The prenup you signed is ironclad." Just then, a commotion erupted outside our room. Mark's wife, holding an identical dossier I'd had messengered to her that afternoon, was screaming at him. The public exposure was surgical. Jessica's world imploded in a single, horrific moment. Her friends, her family, her lover-all, saw her for the fraud she was. She was utterly, completely ruined. There was no screaming, no begging. Just the dead, hollow look of a queen whose castle had just turned to dust around her. I walked out of that restaurant and never looked back. I didn't go to Paris. I went to our house, packed a single bag, and left the keys on the counter next to the divorce papers. Sometimes late at night I wonder what she thinks about. Does she remember the life she threw away? The man she destroyed and the one she created in his place? I don't feel anger anymore. I don't feel sadness. I just feel quiet. The silence in my new apartment is vast. A cold, empty space where a decade of my life used to be. The ghost I saw on our anniversary is gone now, but its chill remains. The end.